Did somebody order a giant woman? Yeah. Here I am.
On a recent Sunday afternoon, Slade Kyle performed as drag queen Bella DeBall at the Atomic Rose in downtown Memphis.
I'm your little show hostess, the Bluff City bombshell, Miss Bella DeBall.
But at this show,
there are a lot of us out here.
Kyle feels like they are in the state's crosshairs.
There have been public drag performances in this state for over 50 years, and we're not going anywhere.
This weekend, what critics call the nation's first drag ban goes into effect. Tennessee Governor Bill Lee signed it into law earlier this month.
Drag is under attack here in the state of Tennessee. My sentiments exactly.
The bill has become the latest flashpoint in the culture wars. So far, 14 states have introduced so-called anti-drag legislation, including Arizona, Kentucky, and Oklahoma.
Drag queens have been around since before there were laws to be written, and so it's impossible to legislate us out of existence.
Drag diva RuPaul recently weighing in on Instagram.
Drag queens are the Marines of the queer movement. Don't get it twisted and don't be distracted.
It is the second law passed in Tennessee this year affecting the LGBTQ community. The state also passed a law banning gender-affirming care for minors. At least 21 states are considering similar bills.
Our children are not guinea pigs for science experimentation, and we cannot allow people to make money off mutilating them.
According to the ACLU, these bills are just some of the more than 430 pieces of legislation potentially impacting the LGBTQ population nationwide.
The one and only Shaquina.
In Tennessee, the unprecedented law going into effect on Saturday bans any sexually explicit performance by cabaret performers in front of children. But Slade Kyle points out it's unclear what that actually means.
The language applies to adult cabaret performers who appeal to a prurient interest, and prurient here in Tennessee means a morbid or shameful obsession with sex. The bill makes very little distinction as to what drag or a male and female impersonator actually is.
Tennessee State Senate Majority Leader Jack Johnson sponsored the bill.
Explain to us, what is this bill and why you believe there's a need for it?
Probably over the last year to 18 months, there have been a number of videos that have surfaced in various places that portrayed, I think, what any reasonable person would believe to be sexually explicit entertainment taking place in front of kids. There was a lot of outrage, I think, from parents and people here in the state wanting to know how in the world can you do something that is so sexually explicit in front of kids.
In your view, can drag performances still occur, like, for instance, in parks, or should they not be happening?
Drag shows can exist in public parks. They can take place anywhere else. They just can't cross that line.
Will drag queens or people, perhaps a trans person, a man who's dressed as a woman who's walking down the street, will they still be allowed to sort of freely walk as who they are, or should they be afraid?
No, they shouldn't be afraid. That's not the reason for this bill. It really has nothing to do with drag. It has to do with sexually explicit entertainment in front of kids.
I think all adults are able to discern what is or is not appropriate to do in front of a minor. When it's a family-friendly or all-ages audience with children present, the last thing in the world that we want to do is be a scarring experience for a kid.
LGBTQ culture has rapidly become integrated into mainstream culture, like the anthem about queer acceptance, Born This Way, by pop icon Lady Gaga. The legalization of same-sex marriage. The proliferation of LGBTQ characters in popular shows.
You may now kiss your husband.
We know that the world has definitely changed.
Peppermint is an LGBTQ advocate and runner-up on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Are definitely more queer out people than ever, especially in media, film, television, and entertainment, which is a great thing. With so much visibility comes a great big backlash.
Recently, that backlash has focused intensely on drag queen story hours.
We're just there to teach children all about inclusivity, diversity, And ultimately, just having the free will as a human being to be creative and express yourself however you see fit.
Is drag dangerous because there are people who are engaging in a gender expression that you think is bad? Is it bad to be gay? Is it bad to be queer? Is that what you're trying to avoid? Because drag brunches are not going to make your children gay. They're not going to turn your children trans.
A handful of LGBTQ parents brought their kids to the all-ages Rainbow Brunch in Tennessee.
The only thing that bothered my children was how loud it was. That's it.
We live 2 hours away, and there aren't any that we can bring kids to where we live.
State Senator Johnson points to videos with behavior that he says is not appropriate for children.
We crafted legislation to say simply, if you're going to do something that is overtly sexually explicit, then it has to be age restricted. You can't do that in front of kids. I saw a video of a performer, being careful how I say this because it's tough to talk about these things, where an entertainer was dancing across the stage with prosthetic bare breast, bouncing around and waving. Others where performers were simulating sex acts on stage in front of kids.
In the video that Johnson's office provided, you can see what appears to be a minor speaking to another drag queen. This video from a suburb just outside of Nashville took place at an outdoor pride event late last year.
This type of entertainment shouldn't take place in a public park or even in a private venue where a parent has a reasonable expectation that they can take their child and not have their child exposed to something so graphic.
Just days before the law takes effect, LGBTQ leaders are bracing for what could come next, as advocates hope it won't have a legal impact on the community.
If they attempt to tell me that I can no longer welcome children into our all-ages performance in this safe space, I will not comply.
And Slade Kyle promises no matter what, their shows won't change.
Is this 2023 in America? Because that blows my mind. It just doesn't seem right. And the point is just to send a message that they don't like us and they don't want us here. And that's deeply painful.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.